iShop.black. One-stop shop for your online buying and selling needs. Buying online should be easy, convenient, and affordable. Selling online should be easy, convenient, and affordable. A platform that connects Israelites, so-called African American, buyers and sellers. Shop the latest gadgets, trendy fashion, and unique collectibles. iShop.black showcases products of verified sellers. Launch your business online today. With fast and easy setup, free video training, and free technical support. Alone we may go faster, but together, we go farther. IB Israel. Join us at iShop.black to start your free trial today. Contact us at info@iShop.black. www.iShop.black.
One thing that we don't understand as Black Americans is that why everybody always talking about us, even when we're not in the room. We know the white supremacists talk about us like all day long. We get that.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
So, Black people in Baton Rouge, Louisiana are going to be a lot safer, and I'm going to tell you why.
Residents in the Bukkak area are worried and fear being priced out of their own neighborhood.
This Black father made a point of teaching his sons a lesson about stealing.
Russia is showing results.
Things are getting thick for the global north.
A woman killed by her Somalian refugee boyfriend and suspected honor killing.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
The social construct is broken.
Highest incarcerated rate on the planet. That's our people.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream today. We greatly appreciate it. It's Monday the 19th. I'm sorry, Monday the 13th. I'm getting way ahead of myself, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting way ahead of myself. So just make sure y'all hear us real good. We're here. And let me get on it properly where I need to be. How was y'all Mother's Day? How was your Mother's Day? Like to know about that. Let me put on my watch so I can keep up with the time. All right. Hello. Letting people get on in here. Let me go ahead and share this real quick. We'll get started. But while we're waiting for more people to come in, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on the African Diaspora News Channel app, and we just ran a promo for that. Those of you who would like to go on the Ethiopia trip, if you are on the African Diaspora News Channel app, on the news section, there is a pinned video at the top. That pinned video is all information that you need about if you want to go to Ethiopia in March of next year. It costs $199, like I said before, to secure your spot. So I'm going to leave it there, that pinned video there, for up until Friday. after Friday or so, we're gonna go ahead on and offer this publicly. So all the information that you need, if you want to secure your spot now before everybody else go get it, then you need to go ahead on and go there. Click that video, you can watch it. It goes through the itinerary of everything that's gonna happen in Ethiopia. And in that same posting, they have a link that you can click. It'll take you there. You can look at the itinerary yourself, and you could, it's many different forms of payment they have there to how to handle that. But it's $199 per person to secure your spot. So people on the app, you got first dibs, first opportunity. Once I offer it to the public, you know how that goes. All of you that always emailing me, what's the next trip? Oh, I like to go. If you really want to go, then you need to make sure you're on the app and you can go get your spot now, right? But I'm saying after Friday, I'm putting it publicly. You know how that can go. You may not have a spot, so just letting you know. All right. There are payments. You know, these are payments, and the reason why I always make sure to do these things with time so people can make payments. If you question about how much it is, it tells me you're not on the app. Go to the app. You you got a membership on the app. I got to cater to my people on the app first. I have to. I can't just offer it to everybody else who's not even on the app. That doesn't make sense to have an app if everybody gonna just get it first here. It don't make sense. Now, like I said, Mother's Day was good for everybody. I spent time with my mom and all of that Saturday. And, we went and ate dinner and stuff like that. Me and my little girl did some shopping for my wife, and everything for Mother's Day. And, it was different gifts for all the great moms in our lives there. And Sunday, we had like a family gathering at my cousin's house. Had a good time, cooked some food. It was real good. They was eating, I think they had crawfish ball. They were doing that, boiling shrimp. They had, some fish. They made some fried fish. They also made fried shrimp, all kind of sides like mashed potatoes, green beans. My wife made a tres leches cake, because that's what people wanted. So they made a tres leches cake she brought over there. And what else they had? They had so much food over there, Lord, so much food. But it was good to see family. I like them family gatherings that we have because, when I was growing up, we had that all the time. Port Arthur, always getting that family house on Sunday. Sunday was the day. If you wasn't working, your behind had to be at the family gathering on Sundays. And that's one thing that this generation of people don't have. They don't have family getting together like that every week, on a one particular day, like a Sunday. And just everybody just bringing food, cooking together and spending time with each other. Because the family moments, you can't get that back. You can't. And the problem with a lot of our people today is that we don't have that family, that traditional Black American family gatherings like we used to have. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of our people are so wild today, is because they don't have even family to keep you grounded, man. The old uncle or something keeping you grounded, or the auntie or the grandma or the cousin or your brother, your mom or somebody, your daddy, keeping you grounded, man. Hollering at you, say, hey, what you got going on? And just hollering at you sometime, and yeah, it is a sad thing. It is a sad thing. But just because it's sad doesn't mean you can't restart it again. Because like for a while, we didn't have it even in my own family. Once my grandmother and grandfather passed, we didn't have it. So what happened, we ended up getting together like with just other family members who all get along with. You can't do this with every family member because some family members are no good, right? And they may not be good for the situation. But we all got together, family members that get along and love each other, and we all just started doing it like that. And that's how you build things out. Sometimes friends show up to those things, right, as well. So yeah, it's always a good thing. So you can restart it again. Just because it stopped for one doesn't mean you can't rebirth something. All right. So with that being said, let me go ahead on and get to the devotional today. Who did we do on devotional last time? Was it Eric Mays? I think it was Eric Mays last time. Okay, so Eric Mays, you say you finally got a notification? Well, good. I'm glad you got a notification for a stream. All right, I think Eric Mays was the last time. So let's see. if we, let me go ahead on and guess, we did Eric Mays. Let me get Tiffany in here.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.
What is that?
No comment. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
So this is what it's all about, guys. They don't want a black person in power. They don't want a woman in power. You don't even, if you ain't seen that yet. And someone so young. Everybody gotta understand, God give you what you can handle. That's what God give you. He ain't gonna give you more than that. As long as you can stay the course, fight the fight, and keep going, that's what we're gonna do here at Thornton Township. And we've been doing a doggone good job.
Clerk, what are you doing? You out of order. You out of order. Did I call the roll? Did I say call the roll? I'm still speaking. You're out of order, Clerk Key. You out of order, Clerk Key. Like, stop. Y'all out of order. Everybody want to run stuff. Y'all don't run this house over here. Stop, please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was, your super mayor and the world's super mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany. It's only a matter of time for Sister Tiffany, right? So, I think the other day I heard about this story. It was a little bit toward the end of last week, when I say around Thursday, the story we're going to talk about today. And it's about a U.S. Airman, young brother, 23 years old, family and everybody from Atlanta, actually. Roger Fortson. He was actually not only just an airman, but he was actually in special operations. He was stationed actually in Florida. And our brother isn't here with us anymore. And what happened to our brother is very similar to what's happened to a lot of black Americans in this country at the hands of the race soldiers. Now we know the race soldiers are here to maintain racism, white supremacy. That's their job. That's what they do, period. They do not protect and serve like they claim they do, because they legally do not have to prevent crime. They legally do not have to even protect you. And that's even by laws and judgments through the Supreme Court. Look it up. They do not have a obligation to protect you or prevent crime. Yet we throw billions and billions and billions of dollars into these local law enforcement agencies talking about, to keep us safe, but yet you do not prevent crime. So why am I spending all this money on you and you're not stopping crime? You're not stopping it. But you good for pulling somebody over for a traffic stop, for a freaking speeding. You got all this crime going on. Like, for instance, prime example. Those who live in the Houston area, Beltway 8. Now, that's a toll road for those of you who don't know about the Houston area. That's a toll road. You got Beltway 8. You got Fort Bend Toll is another one. So some of the different toll roads around here. I see more police or constables on the Beltway 8 or the Fort Bend Toll than I see on 45 or 610. And have y'all ever wondered that, those of you who live in the Houston area, why the cops are hanging out so much on the toll road where people are actually paying than the free road that people riding down on? That's the crazy part for me. You never see the cops just hanging out on the free roads. They always hanging out on the toll roads and people paying. Like, bruh, you would think maybe they would incentivize people a little bit to go to toll a little bit more because y'all leaving people alone. You would think, right? But they sit here and they just raise revenue for the cities, just pulling people over for stupid speeding. It's so stupid. Listen, the only time I think people should be pulled over for speeding personally, if you're in residential areas, like I said, kids, school zones, areas that maybe, businesses, areas where you need to kind of slow down. But if you're on a freaking highway, man, let people do what they do, man. That's how I feel about it. I think it's stupid. Or you got a spot that says 65, and then it drops to 60 or 50, speed traps, and they do it on purpose to try to raise revenue. So anyway, these people just don't really serve the purpose they claim they do because they don't prevent crime. Fine. But the caption says same story, same race soldiers, different year. Now, there's a body cam footage that came out from the sheriff's department. And let me make sure I say their name correctly. Let me go to where's my link at? Give me a second. Nope, that's not my link. I need to. It is, how you say that? That name. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Well, I'm just okay. While I'm looking for that name, okay, Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. Okay, but Airman Fortson, he served as an AC 130J Ghost Rider gunner with the 1st Special Operations Wing at Hurlburt Field near Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Okay, now Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is the same one. Do you remember about 6 months ago, they had a brother that they was arresting for whatever the reason, and they put him in the patrol car and an acorn hit the hood of the police officer's car, sheriff's car, and he say, "Oh, I'm hit, shots fired," and he shot all into the vehicle with the brother that was handcuffed. He put the brother in that handcuff. He was trying to do some little Ninja Turtle roll or something and just shooting up the car. Him and Becky, that was the sheriff too, shooting up the car. Thank God that nothing happened to the brother, but that's the same sheriff's department, ladies and gentlemen. There was another incident. There was a black woman suing them. Hold on, what's that black woman's name? Let me make sure I get that black woman's name. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Hold on, is this the right one? They had a lawsuit. Well, basically that same one, they burst in a black woman's house talking about they had a search warrant. She was naked. They made her get out the house, okay, in front of everybody in the public. She couldn't get a robe. She couldn't get no clothing, no nothing. They had her out there like that. They didn't charge her with anything or whatever, so she was suing them for that. Same sheriff's department, same one. All these crazy incidents with the same people, right? But yet Biden and them supposed to be our friends. So what ended up happening, this apartment manager or whoever at the apartments claimed there was a domestic, disturbance. Now, our brother Roger here, he was at his apartment alone, talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime. That's what he was doing, right? He stayed in that apartment off base. So we want to look at the body cam video. I may stop at certain points because some of it just don't even make sense, brothers and sisters, when you watch this in real time. Now, the body cam footage, it's not going to show the actual shooting itself, but we're still going to talk about it. There's a lot of things experts have said about this and everything. But let's go and cue up this footage and let's take our time with it tonight real quick. All right.
All this other stuff and it hurts, right after it, but I wasn't sure where it came from. Okay. And I couldn't call, I didn't want to call the police and
Which room is it?
1401.
1401, okay.
Okay, now that woman told that cop that is 1401 the apartment number. Okay, so she gave the cop 1401. All right, just want y'all to know this. Why the sheriff is going to that particular one.
1401. But the girl sounded scared, the one that called. She said
Now, he said the girl sounded scared, the one that called. Remember, our brother Roger, according to reports, it was in the apartment by himself. He was FaceTime with his girlfriend. So this woman right here, she should be charged too.
It was like it sounds like it's getting really out of hand.
So it's hit number 4, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. You do me a favor, we stand out there and direct the other deputies coming to this area?
It's not, you're gonna go to the 4th floor and it's gonna be on this side.
Gotcha.
So I was questioning that when I first saw this, why he kept staring at the lock and the handle. I was curious about that. Okay, so you got a sheriff's deputy knocking on the door, and he moves to the side where he can't be seen. Now think about it from the other side of that. If you're inside that apartment, someone knocks on the door, and then you go say, who knocking at the door? You go see, and nobody's there, right? Now, why did he do that? That's the question I had when I first saw this. Why did he do that? Well, let's continue. See, he gets way away. I'm saying, just think about that. If you're in that apartment, someone knocking, and you clearly don't see them at all, he gets away. Why did he do that? Why did he knock on the door and say, this is Sheriff's Department, hey, I'd like to talk to you? None of that.
Sheriff's office, open the door!
Now he announces sheriff's office, open the door, while he's standing to the side. Why didn't he stand in the doorway like any other police officer would do when they knock on your door?
Sheriff's office, open the door!
And we're going to talk about that open the door stuff. We're going to talk about that based off of what is your legal rights in that situation?
Step out.
Now, when he started firing at brother, he had, as you can see, the gun is down. The gun isn't pointing at all, right? He fired 6 shots at this brother. That's what he ended up doing, 6 shots. He quickly did it. He didn't tell him to put the gun down. He didn't tell him anything. Now, law enforcement experts have said that cop was completely in the wrong. The military said that cop was in the wrong about how he handled things. Former cops have said that's not the way to handle that. But let me get to something else before we start talking, right? So, give me a second. I want to get something else up on the screen here. Give me a quick second. Let me go to where I want to go to here. Let's put this up on the screen. Let's look at this together. Let's just get some education. Let me see here. Give me a second. Where are we looking at? I'm looking for something. Give me a second. I think it's... Okay. Nope, that's not what I need. I need something else. I need to capture a tab real quick, so just... There we go. All right. Boom. And we are going to talk about this just real quick, so just bear with me. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. All right. Boom. What to do when law enforcement knocks at your door? So there's a tactic of them getting you to open your door. Now let's talk about that, right? Because it's all about education here. Now they say here in the American criminal justice system, there's a long and solemn tradition of respecting privacy of a person's home. Law enforcement agents are not allowed to enter your home to conduct a search or make an arrest unless they have a valid warrant. At least that's the general rule. However, police officers have found a way to get around the warrant rule with a technique called knock and talk. They say it works like this. Law enforcement agents approach a residence knock on the front door, and engage the person who answers the door in conversation, hoping to gain entry and find evidence of a criminal activity. Unfortunately, for many citizens, this technique is often successful. Okay? So they continue to say, if law enforcement knocks on your door, they say you have to understand what is really happening, what is the motive for the visit, and how to respond. They say first look at the fundamentals, say what is knock and talk, and say it's an investigative technique. It is not an opportunity for friendly chat or meet and greet or community building. The officer knocks on your door is investigating criminal activity or suspicion of criminal activity, or perhaps an anonymous tip. They say knock and talk is a way to further this investigation without a warrant. So they do this to not get a warrant, because warrants take time. They got to give it to the judge, all of that, right? So why police use this technique? They say the two primary reasons officers rely on knock and talk. First, obtaining a warrant is time consuming and requires the officers to demonstrate probable cause to believe they will find evidence of illegal activity. The knock and talk technique allow officers to quickly and independently pursue their suspicions. Second, knock and talk is often used because it's often successful. Now I say, why is the technique often successful? It says the technique is often successful because the average citizen is generally unfamiliar with his rights. It says even though citizens who know their rights may be intimidated by the apparent authority of an officer in a badge. Consequently, many people will provide investigators with crucial evidence by making voluntary statements and by allowing officers to enter and search simply because they are afraid to say no or don't know that they have a right to say no. Moreover, sometimes just getting close to home is enough for the police officer. It says enough evidence of criminal conduct can sometimes be seen, heard, or smelled from areas immediately outside the home, like a front porch. Now they say, are there any restrictions on this? They say, yes, there are restrictions. I said police officers are members of the public, and like anyone else, they are allowed to approach the front door of a residence in order to attempt to speak with the person inside. However, the underlying premise of knock and talk is that it is a consensual encounter. So when you open that door, you're given a consensual encounter with the police. It's not a warrant, it's not anything, it is consensual. They say thus the police may behave reasonably during the knock and talk. They say officers' actions may be deemed unreasonable and therefore unlawful if, for example, they arrive at odd hours, like they show up 2 o'clock in the morning, bring numerous other officers to back up. You see 10 police outside and nobody got a warrant or nothing, displaying their guns, their weapons, making threatening or coercive statements, stay on your property for long periods of time, or attempt to enter or search areas around the outside of your home that a member of the general public wouldn't feel welcome to see. Now I say, what is the goal of knock and talk? Well, generally speaking, they say the goal of knock and talk is to make an end run around the warrant requirement. More specifically, the officer's goal is of conducting a knock and talk are to see inside the residence, also try to peer inside the open door and uncovered windows in hopes of viewing, hearing, or smelling evidence of illegal activity. How many times have people opened their door and the cop put his foot in the door? How many times have you seen that? And the person say, hey man, move your door, I'm trying to close my door, and they won't let you close your door. Well, you open the door. So that's them. And then if you slam the door on his foot, oh, you assaulted the cop. So now they're going to arrest you and come in there, right? They say to question the occupants in the hope that they will voluntarily provide admissions and the evidence of illegal activity, to obtain consent to enter the home and search the premises without a warrant, because everything they're trying to do is without a warrant. They say to find evidence of illegal activity and or make an arrest, thus justifying their initial suspicions. Now, here we go. What should I do if law enforcement knocks at the door? Should the police knock on your door? You don't have to open the door or communicate, you say, with the officers in any way. If you choose to open the door, know your rights and assert them. Step outside, close the door behind you. It's ask to see a warrant. The police officer, if they have a warrant, and take these steps. That says, of course, about that. They say do not answer any questions. Do not consent to the officers entering your home and conducting a search of any kind. Tell the officers I'd like to help you. I've done nothing wrong, but my lawyer has advised me never to answer questions or consent to a search unless my lawyer is present. He say don't be rude, just be clear and firm. They say go back inside your home and call your criminal defense attorney. A lot of times, if you step outside with them, they may not let you back in there. Now say if the police try to force their way in your home, comply with the orders and do not resist. It says it's far better to fight this illegal activity in the courtroom than in your living room. It says pay attention to what is happening around you and report all details of the incident to your lawyer. They say, what should, they say, I do if I can't say no when the officers enter my home. They say, no doubt about it, when law enforcement officers show up at your door, it's hard to turn them away. So if for whatever reasons you or an occupant of your home allows officers to enter, tell officers exactly where they're allowed to be. They say when the officers do not have a warrant, you have a right to limit the scope of their activity. For example, tell the officers you may come inside, but you must stay in the hallway. They say, I do not give permission for you to go anywhere else in the home, and I do not consent to a search. The thing is, if they ain't got a search warrant, you'll let them in because they could plant something. I've covered too many stories over the years, and cops have planted a lot of evidence in people's house, planting drugs, all that. I've seen it in my 12 years doing this. Now, they say any, let's say, way to keep the police off my property. So you may be able to avoid unwanted encounter with the police if you clearly mark your property as restricted to the public, construct a fence with a lock and gate, post no trespassing signs, make sure your windows have curtains or blinds. It says so you don't unwillingly invite the police or neighbors or passerby to look into your home. It says, in addition, educate all residents and guests and say of your home that they are not to invite law enforcement agents and must never consent to a search. Call your criminal defense attorney. The moment you become aware that the police are trying to make contact with you and your property, and as you can see, you know, I'm not putting out fake news. This comes from the law offices of HAMP LLC, right? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me get back on the screen here. Just want to give some slight education on that. Boom. Slight education. So you do not have to open up the door if they knock on the door. You do not have to do that. If they say, I'm investigating something, if they don't have a warrant, like I said, a lot of people got ring cams and things like that, or some sort of cam. Talk to them through your camera. Because let's say if that brother would have did that. Because we have to look at this. It's not a shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's about, okay, what can we learn from this incident, tragic as it is? What can we learn for the future? You understand? We've learned with Botham Jean, lock your door, right? Because, you know, Botham Jean was sitting in his house. His door was unlocked. Amber Geiger just walked in his house while the brother's sitting there eating ice cream, and she pulls out her gun and guns him down. She went into the wrong apartment. It wasn't even her apartment. She went into the wrong one. Instead of being like a normal person and be like, what this dude sitting in my, like, am I in the wrong? You know, because usually if you in your right, if you know what your house look like. Come on, you know. So that situation, Amber Geiger, that's why she was convicted. I know if I'm in my house or not. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm living in an apartment, I would know what my apartment looks like. But lock your doors, especially if you live in these apartments. Definitely lock your doors at all times. They're just a safety issue, right? Unfortunately, in America, you got to lock everything. If the police approach your door, banging on the door and all of that, you got a camera, talk to them through there. You can have a full conversation with them through there. You understand what I'm saying? At this day and time, I've always recommend all of you, if you can, have some sort of surveillance. Have cameras outside your home that you can see around your home, not only just at the front door, but if you can have something that see your yard or you can see whatever, so a service that gives you notifications, you know what I'm saying? That, hey, even if you're traveling somewhere, you can still watch your house. You can watch everything. Everybody has, it's a so-called surveillance society. It is what it is. You need to have surveillance as well. Because let's say if our brother would have saw that banging, and even if he had a Ring camera, he would have saw that, what the sheriff doing, right? And then he could have talked to him through the Ring camera. So that we got to think about the layers of how to protect ourselves as Black people. You understand what I'm saying? Because let's say if he would have saw that sheriff, even if he decided to come out, he wouldn't have had the gun to his side. I get why he did it though. I get it. Because somebody banging on your door like, dog, they about to break in. You know how many people have done that in apartment complexes? Like say they the police and then somebody open the door and then they go rob them. So I get why he did it. Oh, I get it 2,000%. Now, let's get to the other side of this. The representative of that area is Republican Matt Gaetz. Now, you know, Matt Gaetz is a degenerate in a lot of ways. He is. But even Matt Gaetz said that that shooting wasn't justified, that this brother is an American patriot, and he deserved that honor of being an American patriot, right? And I saw some of y'all talking about, you know, in the past with some things with brothers in the military. I'll get to that. Military experts say that shooting wasn't justified. A lot of law enforcement experts say the shooting wasn't justified. So since everybody's saying the shooting wasn't justified, why this guy hasn't been fired and charged yet? He's on administrative leave as of right now. What are y'all doing? Y'all scrubbing his social media like y'all like to do? Because we know, listen, we know the drill with y'all already. Once y'all do something unjustified against black people, you go on administrative leave, and then on administrative leave, y'all trying to screw up social media. Y'all trying to delete the Facebooks and the Twitters and anything else that they got going on, trying to find any video they posted on YouTube. You trying to scrub the internet of everything that they got, hiding the name, just hiding. What are you hiding for? This man is a public servant. And since this man's a public servant, the public need to know who he is, right? They need to know. But this dude, based on all what I'm hearing and all from the video, this dude must be charged and this dude must be put in prison. It's just that simple. This guy should not have been no cop, period. He shouldn't been. Because how I look at it, and even how a lot of y'all looked at it, this dude looked like he was trying to get him a free kill on a black person. Because there was no reason for you to hide. There was no reason for that. You had a door in between you. There was no reason for that. And you banged on the door aggressively. If you had maybe knocked on the door reasonably and just say, hey, you know, I'm the whatever your name is, sheriff, whatever. And, you know, I got a call, you know, saying about, you know, some issue about domestic violence. I want to talk to you about it. You know, they said this apartment. That would have took the whole situation completely down. We wouldn't even be discussing this right now, right? We wouldn't discuss it. The guy would have seen, he was like, nah, I'm not, nobody here. FaceTime my girlfriend. He was like, oh, okay, well, maybe they got the wrong apartment or something. I don't know. I got this call, so I'm just trying to find out. A simple conversation like that would have ended that whole situation with nothing going on. Now, this stupid cop, race soldier, gonna have to get his behind charged. He gonna have to. When the Republicans are saying you out of line in Florida, then yeah, you getting charged, right? So his behind gonna get charged, and his behind gonna get convicted, and now he's gonna be sitting in prison, all off of just a simple conversation. But see, when y'all when they talk about we need training, y'all have training. Because we see what your training look like when it comes to white people. I've seen so many cop videos of white people approach the door and they have a gun and nobody pulls out on the white person. But a black man who is our U.S. military, who is an American patriot, who is serving his country, has the gun down. He's not pointing it. He never raised it. He had his hand up at you with the gun down and you automatically shot that man. Shot him. Do you know in the U.S. military, they can't even shoot insurgents like that or any kind of enemy? Do you know our border patrol can't just shoot people like that? Do you know that? The federal rules of engagement is actually right. If you talk to people that's in federal law enforcement, they'll tell you. They'll tell you what these city cops be doing. We can't do that. And you remember when they were talking about Biden? Oh, Biden banned chokeholds and did this and that and the third. The problem we said with Biden doing that is that it doesn't matter if he did that or not. He's talking about federal. Most people is not going to engage federal law enforcement on a daily. That means like U.S. Marshals, FBI, ICE, Border Patrol, or anybody like that, right? Most people is going to deal with a city cop, a sheriff's department, county, or state. Whatever Biden was doing on executive orders had nothing to do with that. Unfortunately, and it's a big unfortunate, our system doesn't, when people go vote for the president unfortunately don't have complete control. Now, if the president had control over all the states and they have to abide by that, the only thing they have to abide by is federal law. So they'll pass a law saying you couldn't do chokeholds, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. Then federal law supersedes state law. That's the only way. It has to be through Congress, right? But this guy is going to go to prison because he better go. But this guy is going to go to prison off a simple conversation with this man. Simple conversation. Simple. Why didn't he even wait for his backup? If it's so-called domestic violence, why didn't he wait? Because sometimes, do you know a lot of police officers lose their lives behind domestic violence cases? Like a person crashing out, they don't care what they do. It's been a lot of police officers lose their lives behind domestic violence. So wouldn't you wait for your backup and say, hey, let me go at least with another police officer here and let's see what's going on. But that guy could have had a simple conversation. That brother would have been alive today. Amber Geiger, she's sitting in Texas prison right now. A simple, oh shoot, that's not my apartment. Like that, Amber Geiger would still be she would, I guess, still be on the Dallas Police Department, I guess. But she would be in prison. I'm sorry, some of these people are stupid. They're dumb. And they should not have a badge at all. But unfortunately, you don't have to be an expert in law or even extremely smart to be a police officer like that. I guess not. Now, let's talk about our brother Roger here. And I don't know if y'all know anything about the Air Force. Maybe if you don't know. The Air Force is the branch that anybody can't get in. You better understand that. Because I know at one point in time when I thought about going to the military, I was thinking about going to the Air Force. And I learned back then, you got to score very high to get into the Air Force. You understand what I'm saying? If you talking about you want to be a fighter jet pilot, you had, at least at that time period, you had to have a 20/20 vision, all that. Like you couldn't, the requirements for the Air Force is very high. Now, the Army, the U.S. Army, man, they take anybody in the U.S. Army. But the Air Force, matter of fact, talking to people that's been in the military, maybe some of you have been in the military or currently in the military now, from what everybody say to me, the Air Force is almost like the luxury brand of the military, the Air Force. Correct me if I'm wrong. You say you're an Army vet? Hey, well, shout out to you. But they have people that tell that they made TikTok videos that they've been in the Army and they say, man, you know what? I'm trying to transfer to the Air Force, man. I want to go to the Air Force. I'm sick of this. And it's been Marines that said the same thing I've seen on TikTok. So yeah, I'm ready to go to the Air Force. Okay, you say you wanted to go to the Air Force too? Well, no. Not everybody got a bad. I didn't have no bad record. There's a lot of people that don't got bad records. No. You got to be real book smart too to get in the Air Force. That got to do with somebody's record. The U.S. Army won't let you in if you're some criminal. They're not gonna let you in. So no, it has nothing to do with that. I don't know where that comes from. Talking about a record. Well, why do you think everybody got a freaking record? Especially coming out of high school. This young man probably went to the Air Force right out of high school, 23 years old. This young man was scaling up in the Air Force, right? He was a smart dude. And a lot of times people from the Air Force, if they get all the education they need, they usually transfer into, either they stay in the Air Force, do their 20 years, get out, and then, if a lot of times they stay in it. From what I've seen, a lot of people in the Air Force, especially when they scale up, they'll stay in, do their 20 years, get out, then they have their retirement from the Air Force. And I met some brothers and sisters who retired from the Air Force. Met them. And a lot of them say, yeah, I'm retired now. I'm just traveling now. They love to travel different countries. I met more of them traveling in Africa, believe it or not. U.S. Air Force vets. Met a lot of them. They getting their 20-year retirement. They say, man, look, I get my money here. I get some extra money here. I am good. I am living the life. I am not worried. So, and shout out to those veterans. Shout out to them for everything they have done. But it goes back to what y'all was saying earlier. Black men and women in the military have never really been respected in this country. Now, to be fair, that sheriff didn't know he was in the military. He didn't know. He wasn't wearing his uniform either, so how would he know? That came out after the fact. But if we want to go there, a lot of Black Americans have never been respected, even though we have fought in every war, every conflict in this country. We've had Black men come back from World War I, which I was talking about in here earlier, right? Y'all talking about World War I. You said back in the day they called the Air Force a 9-to-5 military. Well, whatever. It is what it is. A lot of people that's in the military like to be in the Air Force, but people have came back, from fighting wars, World War I, World War II, and still came back over here and getting put on a tree in their military uniforms. You know what I'm saying? And when you see a story like this, do you think that that's going to really help recruiting for the U.S. military? You know, a situation like this that's this egregious, Biden should say something. He should say something about this. Because, you know, come on, man, this is too much. But is he going to say something? No, he may send Kamala to maybe say something. But, you know, the only way they'll probably say something, they can see an angle to get black people upset and say, yeah, you see, it happened in Florida, so that's Ron DeSantis. And yet, vote Democrat because we're not going to let that. Like, don't listen, y'all tried that mess with George Floyd. Don't try again. Because even when you in office, black stuff still happens to black folk. It's not like when you get in office, we have a sanctuary state or a sanctuary city. Notice we have no sanctuary states and cities for black Americans, but people come across the border and they get a sanctuary, right? The Democrats is telling the people who are here illegally how to circumvent ICE. So they help them all the way around, but they won't help our black Americans. But we have to, if you're gonna live in America, we're gonna have to know the laws, we're gonna know our rights. We're gonna have to, you know, be very, very proactive. And being proactive is a survival technique, okay? It's survival. We can't point at, oh, look, they don't do this to white people. Listen, I've been over that conversation about, look what they do to white people. And look, see, they don't do this to white people, but look what they do to us. Listen, I've been over that a long while ago. And Martin Luther King told us a long time ago that we live in two different Americas. There's America for the folks, and there's America for black people. And America for black people is we gotta make sure that we do everything we can to know our rights and to survive our encounters with law enforcement at all times. We have to, listen, the one way how I look at when it comes to race soldiers, I assume all of them. And I don't care if they're black. I don't care if they're Hispanic. I don't care what race they are. I assume all of them is aggressive. I assume all of them on some BS. And I assume all of them have some sort of racial angle when they approach me. That way, I'm not lax. And I know that, okay, like our brother Neely Fuller said, when you pulled over, you're a prisoner of war. At that moment, act like it. That's the mindset that I have. I don't want to get lax with them because I know in 2 seconds they'll pull a gun and try to kill my black behind. So just so I don't get lax with people, I like to think like that. Well, not all of them. Listen, I'm going to assume you that way until you show me otherwise. Well, that's not right. I don't care if it's not right. I'm thinking about my survival, not your feelings. My survival always going to trump anybody's feelings any day of the week. And your survival as black Americans trumps anybody's feelings any day of the week. It don't matter if it's with police. It don't matter with reparations in the economy, stand up for our rights about how we being treated, X, Y, Z. It don't matter about all that. It does not matter. You understand? Well, you say, hold on, you say law enforcement developed to make sure non-white, oh yeah. Well, you know, the so-called law enforcement, you know, was birthed out of the slave patrol, okay? They always was around to, you know, hurt and harm us. It wasn't to police them. The only time they really kind of created the municipal police departments, if you go and research it, is because when white people were working, they were rebelling and they were acting a fool in these businesses. That's when they start coming up with the municipal police department, mostly to protect white businesses. You know what I'm saying? Not to protect us, but to protect white businesses. And still to this day, they protect white businesses or white business districts. They protect the neighborhoods. They protect all of that. And you leave the black areas, they let crime go down in the black areas. They cool with crime. You know what I'm saying? They get all this police budget and let crime go down. So you talk about certain places in Baltimore, yet the police budget is so high. Why are you even giving them money? If the crime, matter of fact, they'll let the crime happen. They let it happen. Because when they want to gentrify an area, let's say in Baltimore, they want to gentrify a certain area in Baltimore that had quote unquote high crime, all of a sudden, the police can do their job. All of a sudden, all them little hell raisers that was running around the community doing bad things, all of a sudden, man, they got them. They locked up now. Man, now you can see Becky and Karen walking down those same streets you were scared to walk down a few months ago. They walking down with their dog. I'm like, well, huh? All of a sudden, now they picking up the trash. Oh man, it's changing all of a sudden just because they want to gentrify the area. And some of you who've been gentrified know what I'm talking about. You know. And it can happen so quick. The police make sure they know when to do their job. That's why I say they allow crime. They allow it. See, when we had black-owned towns, we didn't have crime. Do the research. When we had black-owned towns, our own towns in the United States that we created, not a neighborhood. Let me tell you something. A neighborhood boxes you in, and you completely surrounded by them and completely controlled by them. Every time we built a neighbor, like a community, a city, that's the first thing you want to do is destroy it. Try to flood it, like they did, the town where Lake Lanier is on. They want to burn it down like they did, Black Wall Street. Every time we try to Rosewood, every time we have towns, we didn't have a bunch of crime in our towns. Because let's call it what it is. When black people are left alone, we're not criminal people. Feast of Your Talents. Thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate that. When we left alone to our own devices, we do great. Black people naturally do not want to commit crimes. A lot of crime that you see in our communities is because of poverty. And that poverty was created, it's an unnatural poverty. Because in order to have one group at the top and one group at the bottom, that's not natural. That's something that's engineered. You understand what I'm saying? It's engineered. And they make sure to watch how well we doing or how bad we doing. If we doing good, we got to tweak the laws. We got to tweak this, tweak that. If we doing bad, okay, cool. We can leave it the way it is. They do that all the time. This is why they don't want us self-sufficient. They don't want us to, when we talked about, to monetize our culture, to gatekeep our culture. They always trying to find a way to stay in our mix because they don't want us to go along by ourselves. They don't want that. You better understand that. All that talk they say about black people should go in their own neighborhoods and don't do this, don't do that. Every black person today can move out of all the white neighborhoods and go create their own neighborhood somewhere. They can go buy land somewhere in this country and say, we're going to rebuild Black Wall Street on this land right here. Nobody want this land. We're going to buy this land up because it's cheap. We got 1,000 acres now. We're going to build a whole town. If we set up that town, we set up a town for black folk, here they come. I promise you they going to come. They cannot stay away from black folk. They cannot stay away. The crime will start happening when they show up. We don't make guns where guns get in our community. When the crack epidemic was bad in the black community, black people wasn't flying no cocaine in or have no ships to bring it in. Even in the African continent. You talk about Boko Haram in Nigeria, Nigerians don't make guns. Where do you think the guns from? Everywhere these people go, they bring calamity. It's the truth. Don't believe me, just do the research. There's no black nation that makes guns like that. But yet all these black nations got guns. They bringing it in. Because they always want to keep destabilizing black people. The drug, they bring it in. Whether it's legal or illegal. And even if you talk about the people like the cartels, they let the cartels do what they do. The moment they can't get their cut, all of a sudden the leader get arrested. Like your boy El Chapo. El Chapo's allowed to do whatever he want to do forever. But I guess they wasn't getting their cut no more, so we went on ahead and they got El Chapo in a Supermax in Colorado. He's staying in the jail 23 hours a day. Same thing with Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar was another one. Pablo was trapping for real. They said Pablo back in that time was making $1 million a day back in that time period. And Pablo was all good. And then eventually, it's always that way. They got their hands in everything. In everything. When the Chinese were doing bad, they had all the opium and all that mess they had their hands in. And that opium that they had their hands in that time period is why China was where it was. China came a long way If you go research, China was third world at one point in time. Why you think China don't be having so much of an eye on them folks when they come in there? China don't let nobody get away with nothing. It's the truth. But you know what? Things are changing. Things are changing, and they cannot stand it. Even in the African continent, they trying to kick them out of countries every day. They kicking them out. They getting so upset about getting kicked out. Nobody want them no more. And right on. We don't want them either. You know what I'm saying? I say a long time ago, in order for us to heal as a community, and I just say globally, we need a 1,000-year separation. I think 1,000 years. And if we can just get the therapy we need, work with our community, try to heal as a community. You can't heal when you're around things that's toxic. Like, for instance, an alcoholic can't heal being put in a bar. An alcoholic got to get away from the bar. The alcoholic got to go through some therapy, take their time, everything, right, to get over alcoholism, prayer, different things they need to do. Then maybe down the line, after the alcoholic is cured of his alcoholism or her alcoholism, then they may look at the drink like, I don't care about that. Y'all do what y'all do, right? But maybe that person, even though they're over alcoholism, they probably can never be around the alcohol because it may trigger them, right? So just as much as an alcoholic needs to be separated from a bar, right? Because they don't want to trigger their alcoholism. We got to have a time when we separate it so we don't trigger our self-hate, so we don't trigger divide and conquer, so we don't trigger needing validation, their validation, which is very unhealthy for us as Black people globally, right? We need a time. It's not hatred. We just need a time to heal. You know what I'm saying? We just need a time to heal, and we cannot heal with them constantly in the mix. This is the truth. We can't. I don't really get no rest. I'll be honest with you. When I take them trips to the African continent, believe it or not, that's more for me a mental rest and a mental health break, which I need to perform optimal for my family, for our company, for the audience. I need that break because I don't need to be, because they run a lot of wickedness and I got to get away from that wickedness. Listen, I can deal with Black folks all day long. Listen, I know when Black folks doing wrong or doing right. I can spot it a mile away, whether you in America or some other Black country, I can spot it. Usually I can, right? Even our distant cousins, I can see you coming sometime. But when it comes to them folks, you know what I'm saying? So, but y'all get what I'm saying. Yeah, Black folks are traumatized. Yeah, you're right. Especially a lot of Black men, and Black men won't admit that. A lot of Black men are traumatized. Yes, because Black men are the target. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, some of the sisters, they haven't listened to the old women, and they think they know certain things, especially dealing with their men. And then now you're finding some of these sisters getting chopped up somewhere. But they think they know better, Like I said, listen, brothers can be wrong. Trust me. The brothers have done a lot of wrong things. But I haven't known no brothers that go chop up a Black woman. I ain't even heard no crap like that on some Jeffrey Dahmer crap. You know what I'm saying? But every time I'm seeing story after story after story dealing with these little Jeffrey Dahmers they dealing with chopping up Black women. Man, y'all better go watch true crime and things like that. Listen, they do that mess to their own women. Why in the hell you think you different? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the stream today. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you know when we post another live stream, which we'll be having it tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We try to come through here Monday through Friday for that. And once again, if you're interested in the Ethiopia trip, that'll be happening March 31 to April 9, 2025. Go ahead on, and if you're on the app, go there, watch that video. It's pinned at the top of the news section. and go ahead on and secure your spot. It's only 25 spots, 25. And they may go pretty quick. So thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all next one.